Morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well. It's Friday, April the 4th, I'm guessing. I think it's the 4th. I'm pretty sure. I hope you guys are doing well. It's a gorgeous day here in Nova Scotia. There's still so many things going on, and it's just so... If it wasn't the fact that our country was going to shit, it would actually be funny. Like, I had a guy this morning say that Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives are the Nazi party. The Nazi party. How absolutely out of touch with reality do you have to be? And I mean, that whole history in itself is a whole fucking hour-long video of that just isn't true. But I'm not going to go into that right now. And that's the problem that I have. The problem that I have is that when you see what's actually going on and you actually know what's happening and you can see, oh fuck, I can't seem to make that happen. You can actually see the 3D chess or the layer beyond the layer. It's so frustrating. When you see people fighting about surface level shit like, oh, Donald Trump is a racist, sexist, whatever ism you want to put in there, and then Pierre Poilievre, who I actually think is Jewish. I can't find anything to support that, but I actually feel like at one point I thought so, but I could be wrong about that. And then you've got, what's his nuts there with the turban, hanging out with the fucking people dressed like furries and cats and leather and fucking whips and shit. This is our country. And Mark Carney, like, oh my god, This Hour Has 22 Minutes made a video that came out of nowhere about Pierre Poilievre taking off his glasses and having endorsement by Mike Myers, the murder guy. But they haven't done any skits that I know of about Mark Carney and the Epstein shit. Like, heaven forbid you actually point out something like that. It's just absolutely comical, if not terrifying. I don't even know what to say. Like, I had a meeting at the school yesterday, and the gym teacher, who was like beyond excited that he finally had some money to spend on school equipment, on gym equipment. He said he never gets money to spend on gym equipment. And he was there like ordering fucking gym equipment. And then you drive by the gas station, of course the Carney Tard has reduced the carbon tax to 0%. Well, that doesn't mean he scrapped it. That just means right now it's 0% and he can increase that to whatever he wants whenever he feels like it. And if the people, what I'm noticing is it is true. The people who are okay with the government as it is are the people who do what the fuck they're told. They're the people who went to university and got a good job and paid all their taxes and put into an RRSP, and then they got all their shots when they were told to, and they walked around with a diaper on their face, and they still watch the news. And that's why, obviously, it's not all. It's never all. Never, ever is it ever all. But the majority of people I see saying stupid shit like Donald Trump is a Nazi or the Conservatives are Nazi. Like, why are we fucking using ad hominems, pejoratives, to describe people without any kind of detail? Like, if I say to you somebody is a pedophile, you know what I mean. You know what I'm accusing that person of doing. But when somebody says that person's a Nazi, I think, is he killing Jewish people? Does he have people in camps? We were already in a fucking camp. We've been in a camp a long goddamn time. We keep voting to stay in the camp. But when you call someone a Nazi, it's such an arbitrary term. When I hear, you know what I mean? Like, we can go through all the different ideas of things. Like, there's no details there. When you call somebody a Nazi or a racist, you should probably have some kind of something to support it. Like, I was recently told that Trump is a dictator. And I don't know because I'm not living in the USA. But what I do know is that when I didn't want to be part of a medical experiment, along with many, many, many other people in our country whose opinion is just as valuable as everybody else who lives here, people had their fucking bank accounts shut down for donating to a cause that went against the narrative. So when the government doesn't agree with your opinion, you're not allowed to support that cause. If that's not a fucking dictatorship, you're going to have to give me a different definition. You're going to have to tell me what your definition is. Right? And I'm not saying Pierre Poilievre is the answer because I don't think he is. I'm completely black-pilled. I don't believe anyone in politics is ever doing anything on my behalf except for the local people. And even the local people, like Susan Greek, what's her face there? She doesn't get back to you. She doesn't reply on Facebook. She's too busy showing off her odd socks collection. Right? But I mean, like Allison Smith and Pam Hughley and other people in the local area, they're good. They want the same thing as I do, but they don't have any power to make changes. But you have to start somewhere. Anyway, I don't want to get off on that. What I'm trying to say is that the common sense factor just simply isn't here. And it's really hard for people who do see the bigger picture, the deeper situation, what's actually going on behind the scenes. Man, oh man, is it ever fucking hard. I really wish that people who still watch the news or who even still love Trump would do some more research into the background and the history and the real things of what is going on in the world. There was a protest. I don't know exactly what was going on. There was Israeli flags and Palestinian flags, and it was like outside of a school, and I want to say it was Edmonton or Winnipeg or somewhere out there. The details are fuzzy because it just came to me, but you don't need to be bringing your fucking wars to our country. I don't agree with Israel bombing Palestine and killing people and doing this shit that they're fucking doing. And some of the things that you see them doing, making fun of, there was one asshole who was knocking on a door of a house, and it shows a close-up shot of him knocking on the door, and then it backs up, and there's no house. It's been bombed, and they think it's funny. They think that actually murdering people is actually funny. And when I say that I don't think murdering people is funny, kids and women and civilians, they say I support terrorism because Islamic people, because of Hamas. Oh my God. And a lot of these people call themselves Christians. How can you call yourself a Christian and be okay with little kids being murdered and generations of people who have never known peace? People who were born in this shit and grew up with this shit. And then assholes send me videos that say when they were in Palestine growing up in schools, they were taught to hate the Jews. You think? You think? How can you go? The video, and you know what? I will be the first one to say that I'm not there. I'm not there. All those videos, for all I know, they can be staged. But I don't think they are. And I'm not saying I support terrorism, and I certainly don't agree with the religion of Islam. There's a lot of shit in there. But if you agree with the Talmud, you're just as fucked up. So, the only religion that I have seen, and I'm not a religious person, but I have read the Quran, and I have read parts of the Bible, and I have never actually held a Talmud in my hand, but I've seen videos of people reading from it. And as far as I can tell, religion is a very effective way to separate the population from each other. I mean, just within Christianity itself, look at all the different facets of people who interpret the Bible in different ways. And you're allowed to do that. And I have nothing, I mean, I could say all kinds of things. A lot of my negative conversations with people have to do with what I really feel about organized religion and the books of God. I mean, it's, as far as I can tell, and I could be wrong, Christianity is the only one that doesn't want to kill everybody else. Of the major religions, I'm not an expert, I definitely am not, and I'm sure that there are some very peaceful, likely, like Indian religion, I don't know, because we get the surface level, and if you didn't read the whole book, you don't know, and even if you do read the book, if you don't go to their churches, or their mosques, or their synagogues, you don't really know. Based on the shit that I know, because I listen to people who are ex-Zionists, and I listen to rabbis, and I listen to people reading the Talmud. I don't listen to, like, Jewish people who are like, you guys are all anti-Semites. I listen to Jewish people who are like, yo, I've heard some of the most compelling stuff I've heard from rabbis, and I've heard rabbis say things that makes me go, all right, when they're speaking out against it. Or everybody loves Gabor Mate. Why don't you listen to his video about how he used to be a Zionist and what they do. So, like, don't come to me and call me an anti-Semite or a terrorist lover, because I don't think the people, Netanyahu, it's not even that's his real name, that he should be allowed to fucking bomb people. I heard a story about how the Israeli army told women and children to go to a certain spot because they weren't going to bomb over there, and then they got them all gathered there and they fucking bombed it. If you're okay with that, just because you're not okay with Netanyahu and Israel army and their tactics doesn't mean you're against the Jewish people. It just means you don't want to see women and children and civilians murdered and hospitals bombed and, you know, electricity being cut off and water being cut off and food and supplies and first aid being cut off. Right? When one country has that kind of power to control another country in such a degree, that's not a war. A war is where both sides have an opportunity to maybe win. Fuck, Palestine doesn't have a chance to win. This is not a war, and to support that kind of terrorism is absolutely, I don't know how to wrap my head around people being okay with children dying because they disagree with the religion. And they might be taught in the Palestinian schools to hate Israel. You want to know why? And they probably don't need a class on it. All they have to do is look around to their leveled cities and their murdered family members. It's absolutely astonishing that anybody who is not a total fucking, like, I don't get it. And anybody in my circle who can't see it is the willful blindness is so painful to watch from the outside. Right? Because I'm an open-minded person. If you can bring me evidence, compelling evidence, like I've had people say, I had one person tell me that the safest place for a Palestinian over there is in Israel. Well, no shit. They're not bombing Israel. Of course it is. People go on tours and they show them all these lovely things and how wonderful it is over there in Israel. But they don't get to see. You could come to Canada and drive around and find some pretty places or watch some really nice videos on how beautiful it is, or take the tour and be shown all the wonderful things. But you're not going to see the tent cities and the homeless people and the fucking people dying of overdoses because the government's giving away free drugs in fucking British Columbia. They're not going to take you to see that stuff. Like, you people have to be smarter. It's really hard to be nice honest. Like, most of the time I just bite my tongue because anything I say, there's no real point. And I'm not saying I agree with Islam. I sure as fucking hell don't. But these are people. These are just people. Like, you know, people be like, oh, this is what all the Jews believe. No, it's not. There's a lot of Christians who don't believe what the Christians believe. You can't paint people with a brush just because they were born to that religion. Right? And certainly, I don't agree with that religion. And I don't believe those people should be living in Canada. Canada is a Christian-ish. You might not be Christians where we're going to church and everybody believe in God. But we are a society of people who believe in the Christian values, which is let people do what people are going to do. Let people be free to do what they do. And as long as you're not hurting anybody else, you shouldn't be anybody tell you what to do. And whether you believe in God and Jesus and the Bible and all this stuff, that's not about that. It's about Christian values, the fairness, the treat people the way you want to be treated. Whether or not you're a Christian, if you grew up in Canada, that is likely the values that you were brought up with. Nobody's saying you have to be a Christian. We just say you have to don't be a dick. Right? And when you are coming from a country where women have to cover themselves, that's not us. We're not playing that. And I don't understand where all the feminists are. We see women wearing hijabs and we're like, oh, they're free to study their religion. No, dude, they're property. That's what that thing means. It means that they belong to their husband. No feminists are saying anything about any of that shit. Where the fuck are you guys? The fact that people would kill each other in the name of religion, it's not religion, it's governmentism. The government makes a shitload of money off of these dead people, and I just can't get behind any of it. But certainly, Canadians who support, Pierre Poilievre are certainly not Nazis, and I don't. Out of all the people that you could possibly support, none of them except Maxime Bernier is saying anything that I agree with. He's not flippy-flopping. He's not running around with an entourage. He doesn't have a wife who's politically connected in another country and all the shit that goes with that. He's not... fuck Mark Carney. The fact that anybody could look at Mark Carney and vote for him of all the shit that's in his past. If it's between him and Pierre Poilievre, but it's still when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. We can't win the election game because the election game is totally rigged. There's nothing... I'm sorry for the video of my half face with a shadow on it. It's just the way that I'm parked. I'll turn around. None of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. The politics are bullshit. Oh, that's better. It's all nonsense. It's all bullshit. The polls are all wrong. The media is all twisted. I don't know. I just don't know. And I didn't say Maxime Bernier is the greatest be-end-all. I've never met the guy. I don't know him. I've heard that he blocks people when he doesn't like what they say. I don't have any faith in any of them. I think little tiny towns need to govern themselves. And I don't know how to make it work. I don't have the answer, and I don't know if any of us have the answer. What I do know is that Canadians are getting really angry with each other. They're breaking up their family unit, which is ultimately the idea of the United Nations and the World Economic Forum and the Bill Gates and the people we don't see, the Black Rocks, the Israel. That's what they want, is the breakdown of everyone else. You can listen to rabbis tell you that people who are not Jewish are just slaves. They call us goyim. And then I don't know, but that's Islam too, right? Islam tells you that if you're not, like, everybody's gonna be Islamic or they're gonna be dead. Christianity doesn't do that. And you can't bring people from countries where they're raised for millennia to believe that they are better than everyone else to a country like ours where, like, yeah, you know, you do you. There is none of that you do you over in Israel. There's none of the you do you in Islam. There's only you do you in Christianity and Christian. I say Christianity, but you know what I mean. I mean Christian values, Christian culture, raised where everybody gets to do their thing. And you can't take people who don't believe that, who vehemently believe the opposite of that, believe that they are put here to control you, believe that they are better than you by simply virtue of their religion. You can't mix those fucking people with us and expect that we're not going to be extinct, right? People have a problem with what the white man did to the Indians, but they're okay with the new group of people doing it to us. That's what I don't get. It's the same thing, because history repeats itself, all the cliches, right? History repeats itself. There's nothing new under the sun. All those things are true. They're cliches and sayings for a reason, because they're true. Don't let politics destroy your life, give you anxiety, give you heart attacks, give you strokes, give you problems with your relationships with the people you love. Because that's what's happening right now. At the same time, exactly the same time, and in a totally hypocritical fashion, how fucking stupid do you have to be to vote for a guy who's been running the show from the background for the last however many years Trudy Poo's been in charge? Right? Essentially all they did was take the puppet master and put him out front. You guys gonna vote for him. But again, it seems like, of all the interviews I've seen on TV and the actual people in that age socioeconomic category, they all believe this. They're like, we're doing good. Like, we're good under the liberals. Okay, you've had, like, all your COVID shots, all your boosters, you were locked down, but you're okay with it. You wore a mask and you're fine with it. Your fellow Canadians had their bank accounts frozen, but they should have, because I don't agree with them. You know, just because you don't fucking agree with somebody doesn't mean they don't have the right to speak. And that's the problem that we're having over here on the quote right of things, is that, like, I believe that doesn't matter if we disagree, you still have the right to say what you say. And so many people don't believe that anymore. Right? There's a saying that somebody said that is, I might not agree with your opinion, but I'll fight to the death for your right to say it. That's how I feel. And if you don't feel that, then you are the bad guy. You are the bad person. If you've ever said, you shouldn't say that because I don't like it, or you shouldn't say that because it hurts my feelings, or you shouldn't say that because it's offensive, you shouldn't say that because I disagree with that, you shouldn't be allowed to say that. Sure as fuck you should be. And you shouldn't be allowed to tell me I can't say it. So how do you fix that, right? If I go back to you and say, you shouldn't be allowed to say that I shouldn't be allowed to say, who wins? Stop being so stupid. I don't understand. What is in the water? What is in those shots? What is... Turn off the fucking news. The brainwashing of the public television. Not even just the news. The TV in general. Like, I was watching Harry Potter because I love Harry Potter, and I had to pause it. It was on Crave, I think, or Netflix. That's the only reason I have TV in my house, is because it's cheaper. I don't know why, only for the brainwashing. It's cheaper for me to have a free TV with, like, Crave and all this shit than it is for me to not have it. So I have it, and we watch Netflix, and we watch Crave, and I watch YouTube. And that's it. But if you pause it during a movie, after a while, the movie shuts off and it takes you to the TV. And It's all fucking propaganda. It's all about disabled people and TV shows about disabilities and how people who have all these disabilities can still have jobs, and the rest of us have to accommodate for their shitty fucking attitudes and their shit ass terrible customer service. But they're working, and so because they're retarded in some way, they're still working, and we should be able to accept their shitty attitudes and their crap customer service and their inability to actually do the job because they're out doing it. Fuck off. You guys gotta stop accepting like all these mental problems, autism, ADHD, which they say I have. Like, I didn't get out unscathed either. I was lucky because we moved every 3 to 6 months, and I think I missed a lot of my vaccines because I just simply wasn't there for them, which is great. I also slept a lot through school, which I think kept me out of a lot of this mind control shit. Oh. Don't let it ruin your life. Don't let it ruin your day. Take yourself out. Go to a market. Go to a local public market. Go buy some fresh vegetables from the people who grew it themselves and didn't, run it through pesticides. Do some things to get yourself out of this mess of shit. I know, I'm on an ADHD rant, and I really should change the name of this channel to ADHD-TV. But it is what it is. It's my rant for the day. I hope you guys have a good day. Get out to the market. There's Lunenburg Market here today in Lunenburg. If you're in the area, they have some awesome shit, and actually Black Hollow, I think is called, Seeds is here today, and there's a guy named Griffin who sells awesome lion's mane mushrooms, which is actually why I'm here. And people are very nice, and everybody wants to talk to you. And get out and spend your cash money at the local. You say you want to support local, get out and go do that. Get off grid, grow your own food, arm yourselves, and make friends with like-minded people.